Hello, my name is Shamil. I'm from Uzbekistan. I live in Tashkent currently, but I was born and bred in Samarkand city. And I'm an environmental activist. I also organize tours all across Uzbekistan, nature tours, namely mountains, rivers, waterfalls, deserts. And I've been doing podcasts for the last 3 months. I've taken 5 interviews. And the first interview that I took was with UZBEKSTAN, who is from California, a very nice, interesting man who is a civil engineer, actually, but he taught English to primary school children. And we talked about transportation, food, climate, cultural differences. So I hope Wes is watching us, and I really liked your aura, Wes. So here is my conversation with UZBEKSTAN. I think it's my second time talking to you, isn't it? Like we talked at that trip we went on.
Yeah, I mean we spoke
Tashkent Lake
kind of quickly, but
yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Then I asked you about food and what you're gonna eat for lunch, and
then that was about it.
You watch my stories as well on Instagram.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes. We tried camel milk together. Yeah, we pet a cow. We pet a baby cow.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That looked like a big dog to people.
It did.
Yeah.
It
People
did.
thought it was a dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was docile like a dog, and I liked, petting its ears and
Yeah.
everything. I was like, shit, I should stop eating these things.
Right.
But hey, I was just curious on this documentary or podcast.
Right.
Or whatever, what is it? Like, what's it going for?
So I thought of going there with a cameraman, with a team of tech-savvy guys to make a documentary on RLC to bring the attention of the world to this part of the world.
Good.
And as some people know, I'm an environmental activist, so I try to do things that are right and try to work out ways to improve the environment, nature in general. So I feel more connected to nature, and I don't want anybody to harm it in any way.
Good.
So,
excellent.
Yeah.
I like all that.
Yeah.
All right. So this is kind of going for something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday, I took him to a party at Steam Bar.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, we were like 20 people, and people were joining us nonstop. Like, they probably felt energy or something. But
free drink, no, I thought.
Oh, there we go. No, it was your aura, dude. Yeah.
No, I'm more practical.
Right, yeah. Steam Bar's fun. That's cool.
Yeah. So I met him yesterday. We got along well from the start, from the get-go. And I took him on a nice ride with me yesterday. And I met, forgot it, Danyar. Sorry.
Danyar.
It's just today I met him.
How do you say it?
Donnie, yeah.
The Don is he likes.
Okay, the Don, yeah, that's what you do. Okay. Donnie.
He's wearing my t-shirt right now, but it's so good.
All right,
Yeah. Yeah, I met him at the place where I rent stuff, the gear, the camera and lenses, and he was there. I would like to get to know you more.
Okay.
So I know that you're a nice person. You teach math, science, and English.
Correct.
To primary school children.
Correct.
In Uzbekistan, and you've been living here for about a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got here in, I guess, September. So yeah, it's been 8 months or so, 9 months, something like that.
Right. Okay. Tell me more about yourself. Like.
Sure. Well, I'm from California, so Los Angeles, California. I was originally a mechanical engineer when I first started working after college, and I was kind of like you, environmentally concerned.
Right.
So I wanted to get into green, alternative energy.
Right.
And that's kind of why I became an engineer. So I've always been interested in building things and that sort of stuff, and got into some cool companies initially, one of which was called AeroVironment. So we did a lot of really cool stuff with fast chargers for electric vehicles. So, the Teslas and the Nissan Leafs, we would basically make the chargers and the infrastructure to kind of support those. So it was cool. And I liked it, but moved around to a couple different jobs and realized that corporate life was just not the greatest. So, 2 or 3 weeks a year for vacation, and you're pretty much stuck inside all day staring at a box.
Yeah.
So after a while, I just, it's funny, my dad, he rides motorcycles, right?
Right.
That's his passion. So he was like, let's go on some motorcycle rides in Europe. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, let's go. Of course. And he took me, we went to like the Alps on one tour, and that was great. And then we went through Croatia, like along the Adriatic coast.
Right.
And that like broke me, because I was
Really?
like,
What happened?
it was so nice. Like, it was beautiful, relatively inexpensive. People were cool.
Right.
And like, it's one of those things where you just don't understand how much else there is out there.
Right.
And then you see it and you're like, okay, like I gotta make a change, because like,
Right.
life is short.
Sure,
So,
nice, very nice. Look, let me listen to your story. I realize that we come from the same background. I also do education. I'm involved in teaching English.
Okay.
And I love communicating with people. I like the fact that I can connect with people and somehow change their life, motivate them, inspire them.
Yeah.
That gives me a lot of pleasure.
Good.
So, and at the same time, environmental agenda. So it's at the top of my list. So I try to be as environmentally aware as possible, and I'm trying to teach people on how to recycle and be yeah,
me too.
So I met this guy from Spain who actually came to my house in Samarkand. I used to host people through couchsurfing app, and this guy inspired me a lot. We would do workshops together. We would go around the country, Bukhara, Samarkand, Tashkent, and do workshops on environment. So
Very cool.
I'd like to know about, Uzbekistan in general. Like, you probably, when you came to this country, probably noticed some differences in terms of culture, values.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Sure. And then maybe some similarities as well in terms of people, the way they communicate.
Sure. Compared to back home, this place is radically different in a lot of ways. But there's some similarities. So when you first get here, you kind of don't know what you're looking at, and it takes a while to kind of meet people, talk to people enough to sort of understand. It also doesn't help that I don't speak any Russian or Uzbek.
Yeah.
So that's somewhat limiting, although through couchsurfing, I've met obviously a lot of you guys, so that's not an issue.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest changes, or some of the biggest differences, I hate to go back to it, but it's something silly. It's not really cultural related, but the white Chevys, when I first showed up, I thought that was hilarious, because I was like, is this where they all go and they're all the same color? No variety, all the same thing. So just Chevy Sparks and everything. I thought that was funny. And I also knew a bit about the background, how the city had been laid out by the Russians when they came in. So initially I was like, this place is really nice, the streets are super wide and there's trees and it's beautiful.
Right.
So that was impressive in that respect. And then we checked out the metro, which is like, spectacular. Coming from LA, we don't have any sort of public transportation.
Really?
That doesn't exist. Like, you're
I heard.
married to your car, basically.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
do have bus systems, but
Sure.
it's super slow and super inefficient.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool. And I was like, yes! Like, they
wanna
planned
stay
ahead, So, plus it's just beautiful, the architecture and everything was really,
Right.
really stunning. So yeah, those were some of the bigger differences right away.
Anything similar to American culture? No.
To American culture, yeah, but it's harder. I don't know. I think just to stay on the differences for a second, one of the strangest things here is that it's really puzzling to me what people do for fun, like on the weekends.
Right.
Like you have all these parks and stuff like that, which are beautiful, but you rarely see people out.
Exactly.
And that's different to me.
Right.
Like in LA, you can go to a bar, or it's easy to meet people. Here, it seems like it's a bit harder.
Right.
You do have Steam Bar, and you have like, I don't know, it's just
Right.
a handful of places you can go
Right.
to, Starry Bar, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But initially, when we first got here, it was great that we found couchsurfing, because if we hadn't, I don't know how we would have integrated, you know?
Right.
And obviously, like teaching, we meet our teachers at school and our coworkers who are
Right.
from, international locations, but it took a second to kind of get to know,
Right.
the Uzbek
Yeah.
culture and stuff like that. So
Right.
that was a kind of a difference. And then the food.
Right.
So osh or plav, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that was really good. I liked that right away. Previously, I lived in Vietnam, so I was used to like more of like an Asian cuisine type thing. But it was an easy transition, and yeah, generally it's pretty good. Although there's not much variety, I will say that.
Yeah.
It does seem like you guys have osh, somsas, I don't know, lagman, a couple things, but
Yeah. So speaking of Uzbek cuisine, I actually was talking to this guy from Iran about the health benefits of Uzbek food, and we kind of mentioned the life expectancy of people around the world, and at the top list is Japanese, and we figured that's because of the food intake, the food that you consume. So we thought that the Uzbek food is a bit oily, a bit too
Very
salty
heavy.
and heavy.
Super heavy.
And people eat 3 times a day, and they do not really exercise that much.
No, a lot of meat, a lot of oil. Yeah, it's really heavy food. And coming from Vietnam, it's super light. You eat small portions. Here it's like proper big, you know, like it's kind of like America, I guess, in that respect, because the portions are usually pretty big.
Exactly.
But,
so, yeah, probably you had some stories living here for almost 8 months, you said? Like any kind of stories that you would like to share, like funny or interesting, or it could be something that was not expected, and then you were like very surprised or taken aback?
What was surprising? Yeah, I guess one of the things I was surprised at is when you meet Uzbek people, they seem very nice, very polite, and then you get in a car with them and they become a race car driver. The driving here is really, really crazy. That was a big adjustment, learning how to just kind of tune it out in the back of a Yandex, you know? Yeah, that was one thing I had to get used to, because people do drive very, very recklessly. Although I did hear, one other thing is you guys have cameras on all your cars, which in the States we really don't have. So there's a record of everything. And I just learned literally like 2 days ago that if you see somebody driving recklessly and you record it, you'll actually get paid if you send it in. If you, like, rat somebody out, essentially. Which I was like, good job, all right. I didn't realize that was a thing. That was one surprising thing. And the other surprising thing was just how awesome the nature is here. Like, I mean, mountains and outdoor stuff is huge for me. So, you know, when I first got here, it was kind of like it is now. It was, you know, fall, essentially. So it was beautiful. And like the lakes and the rivers and the mountains. And then, you know, it gets colder and we went up to a Mirsoy. And I was like, this is world class. Like, the snowboarding's excellent. The prices on everything is super reasonable. That was super impressive, because when I signed up for Uzbekistan, the last thing I figured was that I was going to be snowboarding, you know, on this beautiful mountain. And
so the things that I'm doing right now is to show, to put the Uzbekistan on the world map. And then make it known to the whole world. Because we do have something to offer to public, to people around the world.
Absolutely.
And those who come here, well, first, when I ask them what do they think about Uzbekistan, the first thing they say, they didn't know.
They don't know anything about it.
Existed, actually.
Totally.
But then when they live here, they experience the life here, they say it's an amazing country.
Totally.
People should come here. We didn't know such country existed. So I'm so into...
That's accurate.
Yeah, so I'm so into doing that, and I feel more passionate about creating this exchange, cultural exchange. Awareness. And the policy of current president is amazing. The fact that he is with people, he is for the benefit of people, and he's trying his best to improve the lives of people who are you know, having difficulties once in a while. I would like to know about your recommendations, like for people coming here to Uzbekistan. What should they be doing? What should they be engaged in? Or what should they avoid doing?
Well, it depends how long you're here, I guess. But if you're here for a week or two, let's assume something like that, obviously you have to see the old cities, because the history of the Silk Road and everything is just like remarkable, and it's deep. You know, there's so much past history, so many things have gone on, and the architecture is like stunning, like the mosques and you know, we went to Bukhara and we saw just this ancient history, and it's still vibrant and accessible, you know, and you can rent a tour guide, which is what we did, and you get this backstory that's just like, you know, I remember this much of it, but it's fascinating, you know, it's deep. So that's a must. I would highly recommend going up into the mountains, regardless of the time of year. You know, it's just something you need to see, because it's, you know, an hour away and it's easy enough to get to. You have to take the metro. That's a must. You know, it's 15 cents to go anywhere you want for as long as you want, and it's just stunning. Like, the architecture and everything else is great. I don't know, and just be prepared for some crazy driving. But yeah,
Nice.
beyond that, and obviously try the food.
Yeah.
Try the authentic local dishes.
Sure.
And
Do you miss your own Californian food, like American food, burgers?
I don't. I don't
don't?
really. I'm not like a burger and fries type
Okay.
of guy. I never have been. McDonald's. Not
You don't
my
look
thing.
like you don't look like one.
No, I like to
Like
stay.
fit.
Yeah, I like to stay healthy and
Yeah.
fit. So yeah, the American diet is pretty awful actually.
Right, yeah.
I miss the Vietnam diet was excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, we were actually vegetarian in Vietnam too. So coming
Right.
here trying to do that was also, virtually impossible.
Okay.
Very
So
tough,
what's your plan for going back and going? Are you going to go on a diet again?
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm not super stringent with
Okay.
in one way or the other, but eating less like super heavy plov and like meat, all day, every day would be nice. But
Right.
I will miss samosas though.
Right.
Those are really
Yeah, I would like to know about your family as well. I mean,
Okay.
could you tell us if you have children, a wife?
No, I don't. Not married, don't have kids.
Okay.
Kind of feels like I do because
Okay.
I teach fifth graders, so my
Right.
class kind of like,
Yeah.
they felt like my kids after a while,
Actually, I thought you had kids because you told me that I have kids and this kid. I thought,
yeah,
okay.
that's what I'm referring to, just my students, I should be clear.
Oh, I was surprised to hear that. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. No, just kind of hanging out, waiting for a little while, but not against it. I would love to someday. But that's also kind of why I decided to take the jump from engineering to teaching,
Right.
because I was like, well,
Yeah.
this is probably the time to try something new.
Sure.
And I'm never going back. It's
Okay.
the best decision I've probably ever made. So
Yeah, probably I'll get married as well because that's my plan.
yeah, well,
Have
you're
a
supposed to be
family.
married here by the time you're like, what, 25, 26?
Yes.
Yeah,
But-
that's a huge cultural difference too.
Right.
That's
I
actually interesting.
guess I'm not 100% Uzbek.
Well, I think there's a progressive mentality that some of the
Right.
Uzbeks are entertaining. It's a bit more like,
Yeah, that would be. That would be amazing to have kids of your own, like boys and girls, running around with your face, with your facial features on them, and then
guess that's true.
sounding the way you sound, probably like
Sure.
voice
I don't know.
imitations.
Yeah.
And, raising those beautiful souls.
I hear it's a lot of work, but I hear it's very
Yeah.
rewarding,
Giving
which
a lot
makes
of
sense given what I
a
know.
little care, water, sunshine.
Yeah,
love.
you got to take care of them like all
Yeah,
the time. At least I can
exactly.
give mine back at the end of the day. I'm like, okay, go.
Yeah.
Get in the car. Bye.
Tell me about your hobbies.
For me, I mean, athletics are a big thing. I've always
Right.
liked to, I used to be a cyclist. I used to be into rowing, and so now I run like incessantly, which I really like.
Right.
The other major thing is music. I've always been into, DJing, producing electronic music, that sort of thing, which has been tough living in Vietnam and here because there isn't much of a scene for that sort of stuff, So.
Right.
That is something I will be it'll be very nice to plug back in once I go home because it's definitely like something I really am passionate about.
Sure.
So hobbies, what else? I don't know, exploring, diving, hiking.
Right,
I mean, there's
yeah.
a lot of stuff that I like that you can do here,
Sure.
especially if it's outdoor related.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be
Seems
nice.
like a right place to be, right?
Yeah.
We're having an open air party tonight at around 7:00.
Okay.
Are you familiar about? Are you aware that this is happening tonight?
I heard there was something.
Yeah,
so,
this is the thing that's happening, and I'm taking certain people with me.
Okay.
So based on what we had yesterday, we're expecting to have something similar or probably better
Okay.
in terms of energy and aura. So yeah, I would.
And free drinks, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure about
Thanks.
drinks. I don't know. We'll have to go there and
I'm kidding. Okay. Sure.
yeah, and find out. But I'm open to anything.
Okay.
So probably tonight it's going to be an interesting night. And if you have time, we could just go there, hang out together.
Sure.
If you don't, because you're moving out, so you're moving.
Yeah,
back to
well, I'm doing an online course, so I have a
Right.
little bit of homework I gotta get through,
Yeah.
which is what I'm doing this morning, but I
Sure.
should be done by that point. So,
Perfect. Yeah. I was very honored and privileged to have you as my guest
Yeah,
for this first of a series of podcasts, I believe,
Cool.
on YouTube. And I wish you all the best.
You too.
I wish you to find your soulmate, partner in life, whatever you call her.
Me too, working on it.
Yeah, great, man. Me too. I'm working
Yeah,
on it.
yeah,
So,
well.
yeah. I told you we come from the same background. In terms of education, and age, and environmental awareness,
Yeah.
and then getting married.
we got some homework to do, so yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much
All
for
right.
doing it.